Good day and welcome to the second edition of the Teen Africa TV Summer Summit, coming to you live from our studio. We are your hosts and my name is Tiny Bliss.
My name is Elvis Christian. The Teen Africa TV Summer Summit is an annual event which is aimed at providing information to young teenagers as well as younger adults from reputable and well-seasoned speakers from all walks of life. They'll be giving us information in order to prepare us for a bright future ahead.
So over a couple of weeks, we have been receiving entries from teenagers all over Nigeria who have learned or improved on their skills, to improve and foster a better future. I feel it's a very good way to, push them forward.
Exactly.
For them to test the water.
Anyways, we need to remind you that this event is proudly sponsored by USAID as well as the Society for Family Health. Basically, what we're doing here, we're here to give you information concerning whatever skill you have acquired, whatever business you have, started over the pandemic during the lockdown. You understand?
So, Elvis, am I the only one that thinks Teen Africa TV comes up with the best themes?
Honestly,
honestly, there is Valentine. Yes, there is
pandemic.
Teenalysis, and the theme for this year is Plandemic.
Yes. Basically, what we're doing here is we're here to first give you more information concerning any business, any skill, whatever category, whatever application you find yourself in. Over the course of 2 days, guys, we'll be having super amazing speakers, experienced, well-seasoned, to talk us through certain topics. Guys, do not forget that you can also learn as well as ask questions at the end of each session.
But before we continue, we are going to be looking at the 1-minute video reel of the entries submitted from the Summer Summit Enterprise Contest. Can we see that? And so on to the summit proper. We're going to be moving on to the fashion segment. Fashion is a way of speaking without actually saying a word. And today we're going to be focusing on how to project our styles online. And our speaker for today is the creative director of POFMORE and BCSZN. Please make welcome Mr. Stanley Wosu.
Thank you so much for joining us. So in order to guide our conversation, you understand, we have tailored questions that would help us flow through very well. So the first question is, how viable is the Nigerian social media space and culture for showcasing one's style?
And following that very closely, how have you utilized your online space to push your brand and style?
Furthermore, what aspect of the fashion industry would you regard as the most untapped in the industry, and how can potential fashionpreneurs effectively tap into that space?
So according to Robert Kiyosaki, 90% of small-scale businesses collapse within 5 years. Some don't even get up to that point. And so with your knowledge, what do you think are the challenges that come with successfully starting up a small-scale brand in such a competitive industry?
As we all know, no business can thrive without proper advertisement. So in regards to online advertisement, how best can potential fashion entrepreneurs reach out to their target customers?
Thank you so much for being a part of this. We expect more content from you as usual.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So moving further, the second segment of today's Summer Summit is centered on gender-based violence. And our speaker is a development practitioner with over 21 years of experience in social sector services. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Tessie Phillips Ononia.
She has also worked to promote HIV and gender-based violence prevention and response, and to help build resilience for children and families experiencing multiple layers of vulnerability.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, let us welcome
Miss
Tessie
Tess-
Tessie Phillips Ononia. Hello, good morning. Or good afternoon, I beg your pardon.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Tessie.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
It's nice, so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Thank you. So in order to guide and provide a framework for our conversation, we have tailored questions for you. So the first question is, okay.
Okay, so we know that gender-based violence sensitization is something that cannot be overemphasized, and even as COVID-19 pandemic slowly passes away or blows over, it is a menace that should be nipped in the bud. Please, your insightful words will be so helpful to teenagers all around.
So thank you so much for those very kind words. We're very gracious. Yes, sir. COVID-19 the world what a pandemic really So today I decided to talk about this topic because it's here and it's a part of everybody's life, one way or the other. If I ask, what is gender-based violence? It's just a number that but it's directed at an their gender identity.
Please guys, if you are not speaking currently, please mute your microphones. Thank you so much. So we can hear and have a smooth conversation. Thank you. You may proceed, ma'am.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. I was just saying that gender-based violence is an umbrella term that pretty much covers a number of things. And one of them is it's any harmful act or threat that is directed at an individual or a group. It's an actual or perceived biological sex, their gender identity or expression, their sexual orientation, or their lack of adherence to very socially constructed norms around what is regarded as femininity or masculinity. So under this very broad term called gender-based violence, you have different types of violence. You have physical violence, emotional violence, sexual violence, psychological violence. And then even on the sexual violence, it is any sexual activity or contact or behavior that is performed without explicit and enthusiastic consent. Consent is key here. And then I want to drill down further. Under sexual violence, you have the word rape. And rape is a type of sexual violence. But it is not all sexual violence. Like rape. Rape is actually forced intercourse or penetration with a sex organ or with an object that occurs without consent. Here's that word again, consent. Without consent. That is regarded as rape. So I said forced intercourse, and you might be wondering, what is the force here in this context? Is the use of weapon or threat or any form of coercion to pressure someone into a sexual activity or act against their will. Note that not all forms of force are physical. Some people may use emotional coercion, such as threats to tell on your family about something you did, or manipulation to get you to have sex with them. All of that is coercion. So understanding the concept of violence is very important because it's not uniform. We don't uniformly regard the same things to be violence, for example. For example, not everybody considers female genital mutilation or female circumcision, as they call it here, to be violence. Many cultures don't consider that as violence, but it is. So you might want to ask the question, how do I know for sure that it was rape? Since not all of us have the same understanding of what that means. So here are a few pointers to help you. If said no, otherwise did not give you a consent, which is an enthusiastic yes, then that might have been rape. Your consent was coerced, it wasn't given freely, that might have been rape. If you were incapacitated or you were a minor, you were not of the age to give consent, either you were asleep or you were unconscious or you were intoxicated or you were high on some substance, if you did not, if you were incapacitated in any way and somebody had sex with you, you were not in any position to give consent. Here's that word again, consent. If you said you initially said yes, but then later on, as the process went on, you felt uncomfortable about something, and you said the person should stop, but they went ahead anyway. That could have been considered rape because you can revoke consent at any time. So if the other person used force on you during the sexual encounter and you did not agree to that force, that would have been considered rape. If an acquaintance or a friend or a family member was the perpetrator of the act, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the fact of rape. In fact, more than 1/3 of rapes are committed by a friend or someone the survivor knew. More than 1 out of 3 are committed by somebody who you already know. So what if you're in a relationship or we're in a relationship with the individual and had consented before? I had even had sex with the person before. That does not mean that you have consented to have sex with that person forever. So consent before does not necessarily mean consent every other time subsequently. It doesn't mean forever and in the future you've given your
Yeah.
consent. So if you didn't say no, so you say, what if I didn't say no and I didn't physically fight the person back for fear that the person might harm me? It doesn't mean that you consented. Consent must be freely given without coercion. And some attackers use, like I said, other forms of coercion and intimidation to intimidate you into submission. So after having said all of that, this year's theme of Teen Africa Summit is to encourage resilience and development and financial empowerment. So I wondered if we could all look at the word resilience. What does that really mean? So how can I be resilient in the face of all this description about gender-based violence, about the epidemic of gender-based violence? So one thing you can consider resilience to be is this: the capacity to recover from difficulties, otherwise popularly known as toughness. The capacity to recover from difficulties, that is resilience. Your ability to be able to spring back into shape, to bounce back. Uh, let's use the word elasticity, for example. That's resilience. Um, so I want to also talk about another word, which is victim. A victim is a person who is harmed or injured or killed as a result of a crime or an accident or any other event, and a person who has come to feel helpless and passive in the face of misfortune or ill treatment. Those are the descriptions of the person who is a victim. But here's a difference between victim and survivor. A survivor is a person who remains alive after an event in which all others have died. A person who copes well with difficulties in their life. So simply put, a survivor is a person who copes with a bad situation or affliction and who gets through it, or a person who manages to live through a situation that could result in harm or death. So like I said earlier, the global lockdowns and curfews and social distancing that COVID-19 has presented has exacerbated GBV, has increased it across the world, not just here in Africa, but across the world. And this is similar to other disease conditions that have also necessitated social distancing and lockdowns, such as Ebola, for example. Both in Ebola and even in this COVID-19, we've seen an exponential increase in the amount of the incidence of intimate partner violence, which is a type of sexual violence, and even violence against children. So how does COVID-19 worsen the issue of GBV? It limits the ability of a potential survivor to put distance between them and whoever the person who's perpetrating the act is. It denies the children the ability to be able to go to school, children and young people to be able to go to school and put distance between them and that uncle that is looking at them with one eye that they've always avoided by running off to school. So it reduces the survivors' access to first responders, to medical treatment, or to any other responder that could have helped them out of that situation. And then it prevents individuals from accessing healthcare services in a facility. So rather than become a victim, here's what young people could potentially do. You could proactively navigate your way to survive and even thrive, even in this situation. If you're experiencing gender-based violence, or if you know anyone who is experiencing gender-based violence, especially sexual violence, drilling down specifically to rape, for example. So nobody plans to be raped, right? But you can put a plan in place to prevent it for yourself, and if all fails, you can put a plan in place to respond quickly and to potentially manage all damage and to bounce back. Remember what we talked about bouncing back ability, resilience. So if you are experiencing sexual violence, here's what you could do. Speak up. That's the first thing. Speak up. Don't hide it. Don't hide it. Don't hide it. Speak up. Um, the next thing you can do is, if you speak up, you'll be able to get help at the hospital. Go to a hospital within 72 hours of sexual violence. Go to a hospital because you need medical attention that can keep you from acquiring HIV and possibly other STIs and maybe possibly even pregnancy if you're a girl. So please go to a hospital and access healthcare. You can, at the hospital, the second thing you could potentially get is psychosocial help and mental health support to cope with the situation, to be able to move on with your life after that experience. So talking with someone about your feelings is a very valid thing to do. You need to be able to do that. You find either a trained medical person or a counselor that you'll be referred to who can help you. You will be able to get adherence support to be able to adhere to the post-exposure prophylaxis, which is medicines they give to people who have experienced sexual violence so that they don't become HIV positive. You may possibly be able to access justice and legal services if you so choose to. So here's one thing to note. If you do decide that you want to file a police report in future, please do not change anything about your appearance after the act occurred. Go quickly to a hospital and don't have a bath, don't brush your teeth, don't change your clothes, nothing. Just present the way after it happened, present that way so that they can get as much evidence as possible for you, off of you, that can be used in future. You may later decide you don't want to pursue it, but just in case you do decide you want to pursue it in future, they need to get all that evidence off of you. And then you can also get help with safety and security planning for the future, and then referral to other possible services. Now, Teen Africa TV will provide some information which I've provided to them regarding some of the sexual assault centers that are available that you can reach out to receive help at this time. So I'm available to answer questions if you have any questions at this time. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tessa. So many people do not even know, they cannot begin to understand how broad this is. If you've not picked anything, pick consent, pick victim, pick health and how to manage it. Just pick something, because as teenagers, and I like something she said. She said, for girls, if you're a girl, this means gender-based violence does not only happen to girls. So I'm so happy that this is happening on Teen Africa TV.
Thank you so much. So moving on to our next segment. This segment will be centered around fashion. Fashion, as they say, and style generally is a way of speaking
without saying a word.
Thank you so much, Tanya.
And today, we have someone really dear to my heart. He is the creative director of Pofmore and BCSZN. Please make welcome Mr. Stanley Nwosu.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Nwosu.
Yes.
So, Mr. Stanley Nwosu, are you here now?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, thank you so much for gracing our event. So, in order to guide our conversation, we have some questions are tailored, like specific questions to guide the conversation. So the first question is, how viable is the Nigerian social media space and culture for showcasing one's style?
I feel the Nigerian social media space, online space and culture helps project your image or your brand story to the people that are keen or interested in your story. So once you have that online presence and you have like a story through your brand, it reaches the right people that are very much interested in what you have to offer.
Okay, so the fashion industry is very big. There are so many brands I cannot even mention. So, what aspect of the fashion industry would you regard as the most untapped? And how can potential fashionpreneurs effectively tap into that space?
So yeah, like you said, there are lots of aspects and genres of fashion that have been tapped already. But I feel, to an extent, the fabric manufacturing aspect
That one.
of Nigerian fashion industry has not, like, most of the fabrics we have here are like are deemed like dumped, like from other countries, like you just ship them here. But to an extent, I feel some Nigerian brands are already well enlightening and are creating their own fabric. But I feel to an extent it's not yet tapped into its effective ability, you know. And I also feel infusing tech into your creation as a fashion designer is very very key, especially in these times and now, like, because like I feel it's more upon us to infuse tech into our fashion, more like in the marketing and also in the creation of the garments.
Thank you
If I were
so much.
someone, I would be jotting down. This is expo for me.
I'm telling you, it just tells you that there's a side of the fashion industry that's not oversaturated that you should tap into and make lots and lots of cool cash from. So moving on, in terms of advertising, online advertising, how best can potential entrepreneurs reach out to their target customers? What's the best way?
I feel the best way for them is to create a story, a visual appealing story, or like visual appealing collection for the right audience. Because every brand has what is particular, has that particular thing they offer. You know, they have their uniqueness. So if they create a viable story, a visually appealing story that can connect to the right audience, then that helps them for what?
Wow. Okay, so we have learned to bank on our uniqueness. That's the only thing that will make us special and separate us from the very, very, jammed industry. That's the fashion industry.
So the final question, according
also
to business tycoon and mogul like Robert Kiyosaki, he says small-scale businesses, 90% of small-scale businesses die in its first 5 years. You understand? So what do you think are those challenges that fashion entrepreneurs would likely encounter, and how is the best way to, go around those challenges?
So I feel that one of the challenges is lack of grants and funds, because our business terrain is quite a very very tough terrain. You know, it's quite a tough terrain for us, and I feel like if we have lots of grants and funding from the government, and like visionary visionary people that see the future and how viable everything is, that will help. And also quality fabrics and creation of production hubs, that can help.
Okay, so if I hear you correctly, the challenges a fashion entrepreneur would likely face in the industry is the lack of brands and sponsors, and the lack of funding from the government and fabrics as well.
Yes, fabrics.
So thank you so much for
And
your
I would like to
insightful words.
mention, I'd like to mention that we as Nigerians, as teenagers, the leaders of tomorrow, let us learn to embrace what is ours. Please do not value someone else's culture over yours, okay?
Listen, we can popularize our Ankara fabrics. Ankara can be made into almost anything these days. We have Ankara watches, Ankara phone cases, and everything. Thank you so much for gracing our event.
I noticed that on our page that there were so many fashion people, so many fashion designers, people that have acquired the skill, and those people that have already learned it and are improving on it. And a kudos to all of you. Kudos to you. Me, I'm afraid that pin will destroy my hand. But then I'm acquiring another skill. I promise.
And you're working now, right?
Yes, this is also a skill, public speaking.
And very, very underrated at that. Thank you so much, Mr. Stanley Nwosu, for gracing our event. So moving further, we've been having serious conversations back to back. So now it's time to
take a breath of fresh air
and relax and enjoy some amazing music. So ladies and gentlemen, from the stables of Teen African Music, performing his debut single Nkiru, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Maro.
Ini the minstrel on the beat.
Baby mo, sweetie mo, honey. Baby, back up, I want your love. Oh yeah, give me your number. Sugar, your love is sweet me, oh.
See as you dey make person turn to mumu, oh. Nkiru. See as you turn person begin to ogbono soup, Nkiru. You be the sweet 16 where every boy want friend, oh. You be the sweet baby I go love till the end, oh. Every time you dey waka, the birds dey sing your name. Every time you show face, the sunshine after the rain. Nothing to you, Nkiru. Nothing to you, baby. Nothing to you, Nkiru. See as you dey make person turn to mumu, Nkiru. See as you turn person begin to ogbono soup, Nkiru. I feel no geography, but I know the road to your heart. I feel no psychology, but I know say you dey smart. You be the young African queen, the ruler of my heart, the most beautiful girl in this whole wide world. You be the young African queen, the ruler of my heart, the most beautiful girl in this whole wide world. 10,000 shall fall when I fight for you. 10,000 shall crawl when I fight for you. Nkiru, my baby. Nothing to you, Nkiru. Nothing to you, Nkiru. 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 See as you dey make person turn to mumu, Nkiru. See as you turn person begin to ogbono soup, Nkiru. Fine baby, correct baby, sweet baby, sugar baby, nwa baby. Fine baby, correct baby, sweet baby, honey baby, sugar baby, my baby.
Okay.
If you don't have that song on your playlist, you are sleeping on the
You're
bottom
sleeping.
line.
It's out on all streaming platforms. iTunes, Boomplay, whatever you have, you can download Nkiru by Maro. So if you're just joining us now, we've had segments on gender-based violence and fashion. Really insightful words from Mr. Stanley Owusu and Mrs. Tessie Phillips.
I cannot stop talking about the gender. That woman sounds like a
Just talking to you
lecturer.
specifically.
Honestly, please, I need her in my university, please. Miss Tessie, can you hear me? Because she was just so explanatory. Even a baby would understand
what she's saying,
everything she was saying. From consent to resilience. I forgot to talk about that one. She talked about resilience, and that is the key for this year's Teen Africa TV Summit. It's resilience. What happens after a pandemic? How do you come back? How do you start strong? How do you grow? How do you build off of the very little that the pandemic has left for us?
You know, one thing she said that I want to point out is when she says that if you get into a situation where there's probably sexual violence, the thing you should do is in 72 hours rush to a hospital, get checked for everything.
Do not change anything about your appearance.
Go the same way so you could have a very strong police report in case you want to file a case. You understand? You could get tested for HIV, unwanted pregnancies, your health entirely, and you could even see I think she said a social therapist or psychotherapist, people that would handle your mental health, talk you through, because one thing is that the after effects of sexual violence isn't just physical.
Or gender-based violence in general.
In general, it isn't just physical, it's mental. So you need professionals to talk you through everything about it.
Of course. And make sure to speak to someone. Please, if you're facing harassment, if somebody is looking at you in a way that you're not understanding, I'm not joking here. Please, look, even if it's a close friend that you feel is bright. An uncle.
It's funny, it's like uncle. You understand what I'm saying? They could feel like, oh, it's my uncle. I can't talk to anyone about it.
Okay, yes. Even if it is your relative, step, anybody, just make sure you are speaking to someone. Get advice. Just make sure you're not keeping it, because you do not want it to move from harassment to violence or sexual assault.
You're already talking like a professional already. Okay guys, so over the course of 2 weeks we've had teenagers from all around Nigeria send in videos concerning any skill they've acquired, any business that they have improved upon during the pandemic, and we had lots of entries.
They were not just one type of job or anything. They were very versatile. ICT, clothes making, shoemaking, everything. And it was so lovely to see. I think Mr. Timmy is here, and I think content writing is very essential in this day and age, and a creative mind is a free mind indeed. And we are moving on to the next segment, and this is content creation, pushing boundary. Our speaker for today is a lawyer, an actor, and an entertainer. And please welcome Mr. Timmy Abaje.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, hello, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
You are looking nice.
Thank you very much. You look better.
Thank you.
So we have questions for you, as usual, questions to guide our conversation. So the first question is, how do I make my content go viral? How do I know that this specific content that I'm creating right now has potential to go viral?
All right. I like to understand that when you see something goes viral, something has gone everywhere, everybody has seen it and known about it. So, like, I don't know, like this guy that did a video that he said, "Nigga, mind your speech." Well, nigga, mind your talk. You guys can read it. Okay, yeah. So, two things I would like to say about viral content. Most times, viral content are very organic. When I say organic, means something natural. Like that guy that did that "Nigga, mind your speech." Well, he may not have planned that thing going as viral as it went. He just did, that's what they call organic. He just did it like that and dropped it, and it went far. And second thing is by massive promotions. So yeah, people that do music, mostly in Nigeria, can relate to that. When they put something in people's faces to one extent, people will accept it. So if you want to make something go viral, yeah, It's either organic, you just do your stuff naturally and it goes itself, or you massively promote it to put it in people's faces. So that's what I want to say about making your stuff go viral.
Okay, and following that one closely, how do you determine what your audience wants to see? Because on social media, there is no one-way ticket, and we literally struggle. So how do we know what our audience wants to see?
Okay, very simple. I'll be using an unpopular example to do this, and a popular example. First thing and the most important thing to know what your audience wants to see from you as a content creator is your engagement. When you do a content and they engage with it and they share, they post, they drop comments, you know that you want to see stuff like that. They love stuff like that. They accept stuff like that. So as a popular example now, for example, if you're a public speaker and you're addressing a lot of people and then people are not looking at you like this and or nobody's doing like this, nobody's giving you the applause or something, you automatically know that at that point, what you're serving your audience at that point, they don't actually appreciate it. And the most unpopular example that I can come up with right now, probably say you are asking a lady out, for example, and then there's something about asking people out. When you talk to it, for example, as a guy, you're talking to a lady, if she's feeling your vibe at that point, you can easily tell because you will know that she's giving you an attention that is rapt. And at that point, she's like, you ask her for a name, she tells you, you ask her for what she does for a living, or she has fun. She's giving you the stuff and she's like communicating with you, she's connected, she's even asking her own questions. So at that point, you as a content creator in that regard can see that that lady wants to have what you're turning out and she accepts it. Now, bringing it back to the context of content creation, when you do a content and people engage with you, people tell you they like it, people tell you their own stories on that content, that imagine say, I was even thinking that this thing was going to happen like this. You can easily tell that this content is going to fire and people love it.
Okay.
Thank you so much. So the third question is, considering fleeting attention span, what measures do you take to sustain your audience's attention span? Because nowadays people just look at a video in the first 3 seconds and they're gone already. They've gone to another different thing. So how do I sustain my audience's attention?
All right. So 2 things about keeping people's attention, your audience's attention. I will just say 2 things. First impression and simplicity. Now, first impression means the first 3 to 5 seconds of whatever content you have must be appealing enough to hold them down for the next few seconds. A lot of people always make the mistake of they have the content of, let's say, 3 minutes. They will keep the important things till like 1 minute, 40 seconds. My guy, let me come personal. People don't come out. Nobody gets time. People are in a hurry. Like comedians are looking for audience, musicians are looking for audience, poets, writers, bloggers, everybody on social media, for example, is fighting for that same attention that you are looking for. So when you get the attention for the first 3 to 5 seconds, make sure you give them something that they want to see more of it at that point. And then why I say simplicity is that a lot of people feel that it's about doing content of 1,000 hours. It's not about that. If you are able to tell a story and make it fun and appealing like this, do not turn a skit, for example, into a 25 hours short film. If you know that what you want to tell, you can tell the story, you can sell your market in that short time. You can easily just keep it as simple as that and pass the message and they connect with it. So your first impression, 3 to 5 seconds, and second, simplicity. These things matter a lot in content creation.
And that's how, have you noticed, Elvis, when you watch something and then it gets to a point of saying, this is really good, and then it continues and you're like, okay, what is this last one for?
You get it, I understand. So in order to keep your audience's attention, you have to make sure you, at the beginning, you make sure
attack it with all you've got.
Hot. You understand?
With all you've got.
So the fourth question, the final question is, do you outsource certain parts of the content creation process? A typical example is
Taoma and the Grenade. The Grenade company that shoot and edit with her.
Do you have like content writers and stuff? Like, do you personally outsource certain parts of the content creation process?
Okay, now I'll break this down for a lot of people. The African society does not believe in collaboration. Everybody wants to take the glory of Nami, I do everything. They feel that when they are telling their success stories, it's always sweeter when they say, nobody helped me, I made myself.
Self-made.
There is nothing like self-made. Everybody come and tell you that. I doubt if there's anybody in this world that made him or herself. Like, there's somebody somewhere. Even let's even break it down to as simple as possible. Your parents made you, like you didn't drop from heaven. So at the point in life, but you have to have a support system. So I outsource some of my content creation processes. For example, sometimes when I'm shooting my monologues, I have a tripod stand. I could shoot it myself, and if I have my people around, somebody shoot for me. And if I can afford it, like a lot of other bigger content creators, a lot of the processes should be outsourced. It makes life easier for you as a content creator. It gives you more time to be creative and more productive. So the more you owe to yourself, the less time you have to do better. So I would even advise anybody, if you can afford it, if it works for you, try to outsource. Let go of the things that will give you a day and stress, so that you can have enough time to sleep and regenerate more content. So I outsource some of my processes, my videography, for example, I enjoy the outsource now.
Thank you so much. We are expecting even more content from you. We cannot wait as usual. So if you have not picked anything, please pick that. You cannot do it all by yourself. Give space for people to come into your space and help you if they can. If you cannot do it by yourself, get people who are tech savvy, who know what they're doing to help you, and you will move that brand to the next level.
Thank you so much. And you do realize that if you're collaborating with other people, you are getting their own fans, their own followers, their own audiences. With your own audiences, a bigger market for you.
Exactly.
Yes, so there's no harm in collaborating and outsourcing. Thank you so
much. We loved having you.
Thank you so much. So, our next segment, still on content creation, ladies and gentlemen, we have another content creator.
I think they are going to be very surprised at who is coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an actress, a TV presenter, and a content creator, an influencer, many more, ladies and gentlemen. She's a box of talent and our very own. You understand? So, guys, let us welcome Esther Uzodinma. So before she comes, let us, summarize everything we've been talking from the beginning to the end in case you're just joining us. We've handled topics based on concerning gender-based
violence. And now we are speaking on content creation.
Content creation is, I feel, nowadays, you are either using social media or the internet is using you.
Deep. Don't leave me.
So in order to adequately, effectively, efficiently use social media, you have to be creating content.
You have to be creating content. I saw something about percentage that people that are just lookers, people that are dormant, people that are content creators, and etc. So I feel in this day and age, it is time to hop on the content creation.
Up in the Maserati.
In Maserati, so that it will be profitable until you cannot be burning that data and money for
because data is expensive. It's very expensive. And one thing people don't realize is that it's actually very lucrative.
Very, very.
Nigeria has lots of small-scale enterprises, so everybody needs advertisement. So your platform could be someone else's advertisement option.
I am so happy because when I was going through the page, I was seeing videos from the contestants for the contest. I saw that so many people said they went online, they researched, they learned, they went on Zoom, they went to YouTube. Guys, that is the way to go. If you are a part of this contest, kudos to you. I did not see any bad video. You guys were all chef's kiss, as Elvis will say.
So one thing about the enterprise contest, like, it made me doubt myself for like 2 minutes.
It was like,
I was like, what are you doing with your
life?
So what am I doing? Like, you see, there was a 15-year-old. There were people as young as 14. People were writing books.
I even saw someone who, that's what I wanted to say, someone who has written a book. And I'm like,
ha!
My mother should not see that video.
You understand? Everybody, and one really amazing thing you mentioned earlier is that it was very, very versatile. Because when you want to think about an enterprise contest, most likely you want to think, people want to do fashion. And people, we have people from IT.
And some people from, someone that learned public speaking and has created a podcast. See, amazing.
I could have been doing podcasts by now. Yes, if I knew. Thank you. thank you so much. Guys, do not forget, we have amazing content on
our social media platforms.
Speaking about content creation, you see, we have lots of content. Interact, follow, like,
subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have not checked.
On YouTube as well. She has an amazing show on YouTube, guys.
I'm feeling shy.
She has an amazing show on YouTube. So, guys, see, and you always leave comments, and the comments has to be nice. I'm always in the comment section. I'm watching.
I honestly hope to see these businesses that I saw in our our
On-
page, like that submitted entries for the contest. I'm hoping to see businesses. I'm hoping to see them thrive. Whether or not, whatever happens, make sure you take those steps because you are already on the right path.
And one thing is that the results for the enterprise contest are currently being collated, and we will give you information on that later.
Of course, we will do that.
Okay. So we're currently waiting for our next speaker.
Yes, our star girl. Our star girl is not here yet, and we are waiting for her.
That's why we need to work hard in this life. So we want to be having,
so that we'll be stars too. Yes, we all will be stars too.
Amen. Amen. You went wide, so that's very good.
Honestly, I cannot wait for her to come because I want to start, having like 14,000 views, 16,000 likes.
18,000
There's nothing wrong with us.
There's not. I might have two heads. I don't. I don't have two heads. I have one. You have one. You understand? Everybody at some certain time wants to be at the center stage. So
and the thing is, the sky is so big; it's big to contain everybody. Star. Every star, so we can all be stars.
And that's what we're here. That's what we're here to do.
That's why we are learning.
So guys, if you have questions so far concerning anything we've talked about, there is a chat option on Zoom. You understand? You can send in all those questions. Anyone at all, don't worry, we'll treat it.
Of course. I think I should hit that girl up. The girl that has a podcast. I need to come and feature because you understand? We need to...
I know, and the one thing I just realized that the podcast culture in Nigeria grew during this pandemic.
It did.
Because I've always known there are apps like Anchor and the rest, but during the pandemic, everyone is having a YouTube channel. This one is sending me a link.
I'm following people. Let nobody deceive you. You can see me here. I'm following you. I'm going to create mine as well. Of course, I'm going to create mine. I think I'm going into painting. Painting business. Look at me. I'm tall enough.
Do you think you can paint your face?
Oh my God!
Do not be deceived. Makeup and paint are two different things.
But then there were also makeup artists for the enterprise contest. Yes,
really.
There were also makeup artists.
Really
my God,
talented.
I saw someone that was doing face painting. Not just makeup artist. She has moved on. She has taken it up a notch, and she's doing face painting. And guys, if you have not seen it, go to Teen Africa TV page on Instagram and scroll down. Feed your eyes.
Feed your eyes. Lots of amazing content. The girl drew a whole fish, something on her chest.
Elvis would use like the whole of the pandemic, the lockdown.
To learn something like that. That's very remarkable.
And the fish will still not have body.
I'm actually a very good artist.
Okay. I believe you.
You don't.
I believe you.
That's not a convincing belief. We're going waiting for our next speaker.
Yes, Esther Uzodimma. If you don't already know her, you can just quickly go to Instagram, Google her. You will know why we are waiting for her because she's a star girl. Because if she says, our Instagram upload.
Yes, and it looks like she is here. Our star girl is here.
Oh my God!
Hi.
Hi, Esther.
Hi, hello. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
You can see and we can hear you clearly.
Guys.
I can hear everybody shouting hi, Esther. Calm down.
Oh my God.
Calm down.
See the love. You should be calming down, please. And please make sure to turn your microphone off so that we do not have any interference while she's speaking.
Finding it very hard to
We'd
hear
love
you
to hear
guys.
it. Anyways, so Esther, we have lots of amazing questions for you, tailored for you to guide our conversation. Like I've always been saying that for a very long time now. Anyways, so what do you think, from your own perspective, what do you think is that ingredient that makes content go viral? What do you think is that thing that's very important? Because I know you create content. When you're creating content, what do you feel that, this is what I see in this content, bam, everybody would love it? What do you think is that thing?
Well, I think it's the spontaneity, basically, because, if it goes viral, that means someone or people have not seen it before. So it going viral means they like it and they buy the idea, and if they're willing to accept it for that spontaneity. That's what I feel. So if it goes viral, people like it and it's something they haven't seen before, so they want to connect with it, probably remake it their own style. So I think it's just the spontaneity of the content that makes it go viral, because definitely they haven't seen it somewhere before, so it's new to them and they are willing to accept it. So yeah.
Thank you so
That's
much.
what I feel.
So something that I feel everyone on here is dying to ask: how do you gain engagement?
How?
Few tips on gaining engagement. Engagement. How do you gain engagement on your page? Like, how do you get people to interact with the content that you are putting out? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but just repeat the question, please.
Okay, yes. How do you get people to engage and interact with your content? How do you boost your engagement on your page?
Oh, okay. How do I get people to interact with my content? Basically, you need to understand your audience. That's the first thing you need to do as a creator. You need to understand your audience, the age range, and what they would like. So anytime you want to create a content, you need to know that, okay, this is my audience, this is what they like, this is how the content directive should go. So if you're making it deliverable, you would know what your audience would like. So definitely, you engage with something that you like, So it's basically understanding your audience and making it work with whatever. For instance, let me give you an example. If your audience age range is about 18 to 25, and you're creating a content for a Chivita brand, definitely you would want to create something in line with the youth. So when they see it, they would definitely want to engage with it. So it's basically understanding your audience, and you can't create something. You can't have an audience from the age range of 18 to 25, and then you're creating a content that is for 60 to 65. Definitely they would look at it and then pass by. So it's just understanding your audience basically, and then using the right hashtags.
Okay.
Quality, video quality, because people like good things. In quotes, people like good things. So you just need to make your content very quality and understand your audience. I think that's how I do it.
So how do, because I've noticed on Instagram, it's very easy to move from content to content. It's very easy to just scroll. So how do I keep, I've had lots of perspective. I want to hear your own opinion. How do I keep my audience glued on their phones or laptops or whatever it is they're watching me from? How do I keep them glued for the entire duration of my content?
Okay, so one thing I feel that works for me is spontaneity, like I said. You need to understand your audience. That's the first thing. When you understand your audience, when you understand someone, basically in any relationship, when you understand someone, you would, work in the way they would, like. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. One thing I do is quality attracts people. Quality is one thing that keeps people glued. They want to see what's next. And then, for instance, I'm an actor basically, and people know me with acting or for acting. So most of my content, I try to infuse acting in it, and they like to see that. So I already know that my audience likes to see me act. So anything I need to do, brand based, I basically act in it because I know that this is what they would like to see, and this is what they want to see. So it's basically you being you, and in quality. You won't tell me that you would see a video that is you won't tell me that you see a video that is very high quality, top notch, that you wouldn't want to watch and view properly. So that's what I feel.
If I hear you correctly, if you want to keep your audience glued to their devices, you have to play at your strengths. Like you said, you always try to infuse your acting, which is one of the reasons why you're quite popular.
And also be spontaneous.
And be spontaneous, you understand? Thank you so much. So it's quality over quantity.
And then there's another question. How do you put out content consistently? What is the key to consistently put out content? Because it's very difficult. Okay, you put out something, it's really good, and then what do you know? How do you know what to put out next? How do you, put out content? If you go to Esther's page, you see lots of content she posts. So please give us your tips.
Okay, so one thing I do is, you should know that you putting out content is not just for the sake of you getting your money in the bag, because if it's not something you love doing, definitely after a while you get tired of doing it. So you need to love it. You need to accept the fact that, okay, you're a content creator, and then you need ideas, because ideas is what makes you consistent, because you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. People see you doing the same thing over and over again, they basically get tired, and they would, your attention span is going to reduce. So you need to look for different ways to pass a message that would make people want to engage and watch what you put out there. So it's just about you being diverse. Look for creative ways. Ideas is key. Watch other people, put your pen to paper, watch other content creators, and try to work your way around it. So consistency is basically about you loving it. That's the first step. You need to know that okay, you love this thing and you can't stop. That pushes and drives consistency, and then quality of the content as well. It's basically you loving it. That's what I feel. You loving what you do drives consistency.
Okay,
And
so
ideas.
love
Yeah.
what you are doing.
So if you have creative block, you should just sit down, and wait for when your head is fresh and you get back together. So I feel consistency, ideas pushes consistency. Next question.
Oh,
Thank
next
you.
question. Yeah, I got ready. Thank you so much for your insightful words. We are looking forward to more content from you. We're
So
sure
much
that
more
you will
content.
grow from heights to heights to heights. Eventually,
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
And there's something I picked. She says you have to love what you are doing so you can be consistent. If you go out there and you copy somebody and you feel okay because this one went viral, people are liking it, they
You
like
gotta do
my
your
own.
own.
You'll do your own, but you will not be consistent,
And you
the
waste resources.
fame
Yeah.
will not be sustainable. So find that thing that is uniquely you and stick to it and just give it your best. She also mentioned something about quality. As much as you can. Do not rob bank. Tiny Blaze did not ask you to rob the bank. Tiny Blaze is saying that you should try and get the best resource that you have. If you're working with your online space, make sure that you put in work when it comes to your video quality, because say the truth to yourself, it is shiny pictures and videos you tap on, you click
It's
on.
even one thing about Instagram's this algorithm, yeah. It's some algorithm. I beg your pardon. Algorithm. It often pushes videos to the explore page that are clear, that have amazing
Videos
quality,
and pictures.
that are clear. So if you want to reach that audience that is your dream or your goal, you must make sure you have good quality. You must not too mega.
And I know there are
pixels.
tips out there that will help you bring the best that your digital device can give. Use sunlight and the rest of it. You know it. And I think there will be a
I think good
difference.
editing even helps quality.
Good editing. I don't know anything about editing.
Good video editing helps your quality, yes. And if you shot it with a very low quality camera, you could try with filters and the rest, and it would help you. It would help you.
Of course. And if you do not know how to edit like Tiny, go on there.
Don't learn.
Sorry?
The world on YouTube, you can learn anything. you
Of course,
understand?
of course. It's been so much fun. I don't want to go.
So guys, before we leave, yeah, we're going to play back the 1 minute video of the entries we got for the enterprise contest.
Of course.
And I would remind you again, our results are being collated
Right now, as
right now.
we speak.
As we are speaking, they are collating results. Everybody was very good. You
So
understand?
you guys made it really tough, very, very tough,
Very tough.
for the judges. And
So we'll be watching those entries once again, and we'll be back.
And so this marks the end of day one of Teen Africa TV Summer Summit. Guys, it has been exciting. Remember, tomorrow is day 2. Tomorrow is the bang bang.
The
Tomorrow is the
jing
jing jing. Is the gung. And so all our contestants, the selected few that will be, our finalists, the best videos that we have picked out of the very, very good videos. They will be showcased, and you
winners
don't
will be
want to
announced.
miss. You really don't want
don't
to
wanna
miss.
miss that.
Make sure to follow us on all our social media platforms at Teen Africa TV
Facebook, Twitter.
and YouTube. Subscribe.
Sabakarai.
Subscribe. There will also be an array of very, amazing
Speakers
speakers. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. Today I did not come with biro, but tomorrow, nobody...
You can't carry last.
For what? For any reason.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. In order to wrap up our show for today, our event for today, we have a very talented singer, songwriter, lyricist from the stable of Teen Africa Music. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome the ever delectable
Reflex.
Aha! This one now to all the people waiting say they sabi photo. I dey shake my head. Ajaga jaga jaga. Ajogo jogo jogo. I beg leave my side. Ewo. You dey do me a joro. You dey do me a joro. You dey do me a joro. Ojoro. Every time where I want see you, you go say not tomorrow. Every time where you need money, not from me, you go borrow. I be smart girl where you the think say I be your lodo. But I know if you reach your house, your name now Koro. Then if you hide true colors, cause he go show. This one where you can't do, I know come no. This one you did do to me, not to bring me sorrow. But me I know say I go show you, say I don't know. You don't tell me a joro. Don't do no, you don't tell me a joro. Don't do no, you don't tell me a joro. Ojoro, ojoro. You don't tell me a joro. Don't do no, you don't tell me a joro. Don't do no, you don't tell me a joro. Ojoro, ojoro. You know they show for face, person they get colo. But one day self you go see me, I know be dodo. I be your boo you say, but your eyes shall they so photo. And I know say you get fool me for a show.